Hello, I greet you. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Welcome to Homo Politicus, which is a flagship show on Enterprise TV in Lagos. Of course, like a friendly octopus, we claw at any and every story, nationally and internationally, that catches our fancy. Today, 24 hours to election day in America. What early voting can or cannot tell us? Well, you know, election day in America is 24 hours away. That's on Tuesday. But let's tell you that millions of Americans have already cast their ballots. A landmark number of 62.7 million voters had handed in ballots by Thursday. And the indications are beginning to show which side is likely to nick the race to the White House. Mention must be made of the vitriolic, that is the acrimonious campaign season that has panned out, and the worries over the nation's democracy. Observers say the race is tight and they expect a photo finish in the 60th presidential election in America's 248-year history. Note that Vice President Kamala Harris, the 60-year-old Asian American, is the 49th vice president and the first female politician to hold that post. If she wins, it can only mean America is ready for a first female commander-in-chief. But mention must also be made of the 78-year-old businessman and Republican Donald Trump, the tough-talking New Yorker whose trademark is intemperance in speech, and begs the question, is it typifying of a 21st century America? Take note, his punchline is, make America great again. Now, my discussants are very familiar to you, but let's meet and greet them one more time. We have broadcaster journalist Charles Ideho joining us from his base here in Lagos. Charles, I greet you. All right, Charles, you are joined by the breezy Cyril Abaku, who is holding on. Cyril, I greet you. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Charles, let's start with you. Election day is tomorrow, November 5. And of course, the two front runners are Vice President Kamala Harris and the former President Donald Trump.
Yes. Well, it's good. It's quite interesting because celebrating democracy which over Nigeria. Of course, let's argue whether we are running it well or not. That's the case for another day. Borrowed from America. Look at them, how they are running their show, what you can borrow, the takeaways, what you can bring and domesticate right here. So it's a good thing. And also another interesting aspect is that whether it's Trump that wins or Harris, history will be made. If Harris wins, we're having the very first female president in the White House. If Trump wins, we're having somebody who was defeated, returned again after another term of another president, and he's come back to claim maybe what they stole from him. You know, as we said, Trump is very talkative. So he will just say, well, they kept it, they held it in weight, and so he's coming to claim what rightly belongs to him. So whenever the pendulum swings, history will be made in America. By the time all the votes are counted tomorrow or next, and then winner is left, the winner is announced. But let me quickly say this: as at this morning, I got a report yesterday that more than 76 million have already voted, which is of course up from the 16 point something mentioned. So as of last night, 76 million have already voted. Sorry.
Okay. So 67 or so million have voted in the early voting system.
76 and counting.
Yeah, and counting. Yeah. Okay. But the figure is that there are about 240 million Americans registered to vote. But we must talk about the 7 swing states, key swing states of Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin.
Yes, it's important to factor them in. But before we even come to that, in a in a poll that was conducted on Saturday, I think,
Okay.
Kamala Harris was seen to be ahead of.
Even if slightly.
Yeah, well, I mean, considerably, she was ahead of
Okay.
Donald Trump in Iowa. They said he had won easily in 2015.
That's it, yeah.
So that leaves us again guessing and asking how much more of the unexpected are we going to see in 2024? I, for one, the easy way would have been to think that we take the phlegmatic temperament of a Kamala Harris
Okay.
and
Juxtapose it against...
with the competence in terms of economic management. Sorry, excuse me. The economic competence and boldness and maybe some charisma of
to an extent, the intemperance of Donald Trump.
I'm not talking about his intemperance. I said his competence in managing the economy. If you look at both candidates, Trump obviously is offering better when it comes to...
When Trump had been there.
And he did it better than they are doing it now. Inflation was lower under Trump than it is today. Even jobs. At a time under Trump, people were saying that there are more jobs than could be taken.
Yeah,
as a matter of fact,
yeah.
some months ago, when both candidates, when it became clear that it was going to be Trump versus Harris, even the CNN was admitting in the editorial that Harris had not been able to narrow in on specifics he was going to do for the economy. Meanwhile, Trump, in fact, she was repeating everything Trump had said at an earlier rally. My point is neither to say for Trump or for Kamala. What I'm simply saying is, if we can take on the executive phlegmatism of a Kamala Harris and bring in a bit, but of course, I mean that's like wishful thinking because it won't happen. In the end, it's going to be one candidate against the other tomorrow, and then it will be who are the voters going to choose. Now, if you come to the seven populous states or swing states, as we call them, Nevada, North Carolina, Arizona, and so Wisconsin,
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. The point is that because this is going to be a matter of votes being cast, especially beyond the popular vote,
Yeah.
the electoral college.
And any of the candidates will need 270 of those college votes to sail through.
Now, if you look at what has happened, with the 75 million votes, even by American standards, it is being admitted that this is a show of very great voter enthusiasm. So that
For the first time in a long time.
I mean, you can see what's going on. So clearly, Americans are eager to choose a new president, and it will be interesting to see whom the voters go for.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, Charles, let's get back to you. Are you there?
Yes.
I like to exploit a bit of history here. In 1960, it was the late, great JFK versus Nixon, right?
Yes.
But it swung in JFK's favor. Of course, don't forget the Bay of Pigs that involved Cuba. And the temperament of JFK came to douse tension between America and Russia, under Nikita Khrushchev then. And then fast forward to the now generation. In 1980, it became Republican, what's his name again? Ronald Reagan versus our big brother, Jimmy Carter, okay? You remember?
I'm following your history. Yes, go ahead.
And of course, you remember the 100 plus 100 and is it 4 or 44 American students who were held hostage in Iran?
Yes.
Somehow,
I remember the point. Yes,
somehow the charisma of what's his name, Reagan, carried the day. So now, in a 21st century world, it's between an incumbent
Vice President.
and a tough-talking Trump.
Yes. Well, if you look at those issues, the issues just said they're very important, and you can't push them away. If you also look at what is happening today, it does seem as if a play of what you mentioned earlier. But if you look at Trump, Can I continue?
Charles, just a minute. We'll go for a break, for a brief 2 minutes. Our man is here, so let's bring him in. Enterprise TV, your one-stop shop for news, programs, human angle stories, the economy, sports, and much more. We go the extra mile to bring incredible details to you. So hop on the train now. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth. All right, folks, welcome back from the break. And during the break, may I just tell you, our colleague, that journalist, political commentator, Emeka Madunago joined us. Emeka, I greet you. Welcome.
Yes.
Yeah. Charles, the indomitable Emeka has joined us. So it makes the discussion even more robust. So we have lifted the pause button. Go on.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you were saying.
It's a tactic. Yes, what I was saying that the history you gave very, very important, and it was associated to fast forward to the now. Yeah. I also want to look at you talk about the importance of this, and then the talking nature of Trump. Or you see, American politics, usually the vote has to do with foreign policies and domestic policies. But when you look at it now, you look at two main issues that have to talk about the American economy. In America today, the general people, they feel that Biden has not done well in terms of the economy at all. And Kamala Harris is also inheriting that the backlash from the mismanagement of the American economy. When it has to do with immigration, they believe that Trump is also better placed. Look at the border with Mexico, and then every other thing you look at it today. And if you go to a place like Michigan, where you have no fewer than 200,000 Arab American voters, they are also angry with Biden in terms of the handling of the Israel-Gaza conflict. So they think that Trump will do better. So you see that even Trump's own what we call grab back home here is also paying for him. So they feel that he's a better manager of the economy. He's also a better manager of when it has to do with immigration and all that. So I think whether I like it or not, Trump also has his own, the nuisance value of his grab. I also pay him both in short and long.
But does that typify the 21st century America? Essentially because East-West...
Well,
hold on. East-West balance is something you can easily predict. The West versus the East.
Well,
Charles, sorry, vis-a-vis the Cold War.
Yeah, well, as I said, that's why I want to throw the line of Siri when it has to do with who's a better manager of the economy. Okay? You have to look at it and then examine it critically. Because you're talking about, if I understand you correctly, talked about Trump's way of managing the economy. When it comes to the Cold War, for instance, look at if Trump were there, according to what he said, he boasted that if you talk about the Cold War, he said he would not have allowed the Ukraine war to have escalated what it is now.
Yes, Charles. But even so if he was that influential, why did he lose a second term?
Well, he lost because I've always mentioned this. You have two schools. You have a person can be a student of politics, can also be a student of power. I think in the beginning, he did well, was a student of politics. He was able to do it. But the moment he became a student of power, he now began to make mistakes. And to that mistake, he caused a lot of, when it has to do with, blacks here and there, he now began openly bringing in issue of ethnic sentiment. And so that's exactly what happened to him, that he lost. In America, they don't joke with also on this state. The Hispanic vote, the Puerto Rican vote, and the way he's treating the blacks and all that. And today now the women too, they're also angry. They have anger against him because of this abortion right and reproductive health and all that. So there are ways that you can look at a candidate to accept him based on his based on his goodness. But I think, as I said, yes.
All right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, back here.
I'm done. Yeah.
Okay, just hold on. Emeka, former President Trump is having to, more like climbing a hill regarding immigrants on the one hand. He referred to the island of Puerto Rico as a garbage one, you know. And of course, Muslim population, I think in Michigan, am I right now? So he's trying that his campaign organization is trying to mend fences.
Trump knows clearly that he has no strategy. The world has become much more complex than when Trump was president of America. And so you have to navigate the waters very carefully. Trump is talking about the Ukraine war, but under him, what happened in Chechnya? What happened in Georgia? What happened in Ingushetia? Why
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan. Was it not his bungling of Afghanistan that tied the hands of Biden? And Biden couldn't do anything. What if in Africa, the Tigray war in Ethiopia? What did Trump do about it? Going all around, Central East Africa. What did he do about it? The advances of Russia's advance into Africa. Central Africa, Russia had actually established itself in Central Africa while Trump was president. What did he do? Taiwan. Now, some days ago, the South African government wrote to the Taiwanese mission in Pretoria that they had to shut down because of China's growing influence in trying to isolate Taiwan.
Sorry, not meant to interrupt you. Go back to when Trump just assumed office. Yes. Cyril will remember this. Trump announced the permanent capital of Israel to Jerusalem. You understand? And it caused some skirmish there.
Well, it was just, to me, it was more diplomatic, diplomatics and then economic sense. Because by putting that mission in Jerusalem, yes, he appealed to
sentiments,
people who in that side. But the other thing was that it was also for economic sense, because in Jerusalem you can handle Israeli affairs and Palestinian affairs. So it made no sense having your main mission in Tel Aviv.
Tel Aviv, yeah.
Then you have a consulate in Jerusalem, that was catering to Palestinian affairs. It's a waste of money now. Any government that's conscious of being, of prudence would ensure that in managing your foreign missions, you have to be sure that you can, as much as possible, put things together, coalesce them, so that you don't have to waste money. And that's what some other countries did, Norway and the rest of them.
Okay.
They did them because, don't forget, the U.S. mission had been needed for many years. I think as far back as 1677 or so. So, it was, so it was just a continuing, series of things.
Yeah.
So, the fact of the matter is that Biden has better managed global geopolitics than Trump, because Trump made so much noise. Yet, all he could do with North Korea was just to fly some B-52 bombers.
Yeah.
And that was all. I thought he said, I will teach that
and he's
boy a lesson.
No, the Rocket Man.
The Rocket Man. The Rocket Man. But what did he end up with? He flew from bombers. And that was all.
That may not be that he didn't do anything.
No, he said he would teach.
I understand
Was it my friend?
I understand what you mean. You see, the thing
And to add to what you already know, Trump's approach to immigrants.
No, look, the point is this.
No, but address that.
Whenever we...
And America is a country of immigrants.
I will come to
he is an immigrant.
I will come to that. Whenever we discuss American elections and Trump versus Harris, it always winds up as if I'm standing behind Mr. Trump. But it's fine. Now, the point is this. There was nothing Trump did as president that he hadn't said he was going to do. Trump had talked about a nationalistic fervor over and above internationalism. Did he do it? Yes.
No.
Did he say it? Yes.
No.
And did he do it? Yes.
No.
He was the one who came and
China remained dominant with all his noise, and he's still talking about
No, it didn't matter. The fact of Chinese dominance, if you're the first Americans Chinese loans. He didn't initiate it.
No, not just production. He said he was
Yeah.
going to make sure that
Yeah.
US companies came back to US, but he didn't achieve it. Now he's singing the same song.
No. He didn't say he was going to do it in 4 years. You laid the ground
And he did good. Now he's talking about doing it again in 4 years. I like your
fine. If you
so if you couldn't do it in 4 years, if it becomes will he do it in 4 years?
the argument will be this: if he had handed out to somebody who believed in his policy, or if he had done his own 8 years on the pounds, maybe the argument would have been different.
So for you, an American president cast in the mold of Trump must be intrepid, fearless.
That is the argument.
Tough talking.
That is the argument. If that is what the man is, Americans want to vote for him, so be it.
Listen, I want to do that thing that let's not run away. Seriously, let's not run away from that because you raised a very valid point.
Which one?
You said if he had 8 years, now he didn't have 8 years.
Yes.
Now, fine, he wasn't stuck. I'm taking your point. He didn't have 8 years.
Yes.
He wasn't succeeded by a Republican.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Or by somebody who believed in his vision.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, how is he going to now take 4 years here, jump 8 years, and take another 4 years?
So for example,
his China plan. I'm very keen on that China plan.
because I'm not a spokesman to Mr. Trump, but let's face the facts as they are on the table. No,
Charles, we are coming back to you soon. Okay,
fine.
please.
The question is to say, did he lay the foundation for getting there? Yes, he did. And you cannot take Trump's legacy in terms of China as in isolation. You look at the holistic game plan, military-wise, the military complex, military-wise, defense-wise, and then geopolitics.
So what? Cyril, dropping the mother of all bombs on Afghanistan was a fly in his ointment.
Fly in which one? Didn't he take out Qasem Soleimani, the head of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps? Everything Trump promised he did. The one he said was only a dog and was running for his life. The issue about, for example, he talked of the North Korean president,
The rocket plan.
if no matter how bellicose or bellicist your policies are, you don't begin from dropping a bomb or cocking a gun. You begin by initiating diplomacy, and which Trump tried to do. If by the time he had left office, relations are thought. The only place where what looked like a soft one was brewing was with Iran. When everybody thought that because of Barack Obama's peace deal with them, Trump showed up. Trump revisited it because he knew that to this day Iran is still enriching. So don't let us
One policy is there. So what has happened?
and that was in spite of Obama's agreement. It is the reason America is begging Israel and saying, please don't bomb their nuclear sites, because they are afraid that if they did one, they could get weapon in a short time. My point is simple. I will not join the group that bashes Trump, because it's Trump. If they call and say he's the president, the next president, who am I? My point is straightforward, Mr. Hussein. The Democrats and I may not be able to sit in the same room on the ground of values. It is plain and simple.
All right. Since you have gone there, let me provoke Charles Ideho one more time. Charles, are you with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me change the character of this discussion. We look at a Republican in the White House, a Democrat in the White House, and policies towards Africa, which is where you and I belong in. So if a Trump comes, what deal for Africa? Or if a Kamala Harris comes in, what deal for Africa?
Okay, I think since Reagan, was it Reagan? Yes, since Reagan, I do not think that Africa has actually got it too well with the Republican government in America. If you go to Bush,
Reagan started the Star Wars thing, and it always almost tilted the balance across the world.
Yes. So you say Africa, for me, when Africa gained, the last time Africa gained was during the Reagan years, the Reagan presidency, the Bush senior, Bush junior, I can't recall any significant gains that Africa got from those presidency. You know, then when you look at both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, Donald Trump did 4 years. We were able to test what he could do for and against Africa. I think for me, for Africa, Kamala Harris' presidency, Africa may benefit more than it should benefit from Trump. Because when you look at the Trump's immigration, the anti-African sentiment,
anti-immigrant
of that sentiment, anti-African too. Allow me to add anti-African to it. It's also part of it because even when during the barriers that even threw him up, he ran against Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis is the Florida governor, and he also ran against Nikki Haley, who of course was a former UN ambassador. So when even the votes, about 15% to 20% of the those who voted, they voted against Trump. Even within the Republicans. So the question is now that if Trump were to be that good in vote, would his in-house people vote against him up to about 20%? So is it now clear that even half of the 20% that voted against him in that primary, they will maybe vote for Republican, sorry, for Democrats, and not all some of them will just abstain. So I think that the Kamala Harris government may favor Africa, not because she's black, because she's not African at all. She has an Asian mother and a Jamaican father, apart from the fact that what Peter Tosh said, where he sang that no matter where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you're an African. That's only what the closest that Kamala Harris is to Africa. She's not African. But I think that if she carries on with the Democrats' policy towards Africa, Africa might do better than a Republican government on that top.
Yeah, Emeka, how do you latch onto this?
Yeah, for me, I think Joe Biden has demonstrated a better understanding of current realities globally, and he has been more tempered. Like I said, one other some time ago, that actually the war that Israel has been prosecuting against Iran, Lebanon, is actually like the hand of Esau.
And the voice of Jacob.
So, yeah, the hand of Esau, the voice of Jacob. So, for me, I think I would prefer a Kamala Harris presidency, which is heavier on diplomacy, on tactical and strategic understanding, and handling of global issues. Because right now, many economies around the world are vulnerable, are shaking. So if you, for instance, say you're going to remove production from China and bring back to America, you're going to throw illegal immigrants out, you're going to do this. Does the United States right now have the kind of workforce to replace, for instance, Mexicans? Because you go to the US, I've been to a number of US cities, and you see it's many Mexicans who do a lot of the dirty stuff, if you permit that. So does America have, it's not just about, grandstanding. Does America have the kind of workforce that can replace those guys? Then two, when you say you're going to deal with China, you're going to reduce China's influence. But China and Japan together hold so much in your treasury bills. Treasury bills that ensure that that the American economy can keep running. Now, Europe is in decline. There isn't any fantastic thing or innovation or anything that has come out of Europe in a number of years. Now, people might blame Biden that, the way he handled the Israel war and all that. But Biden is a student of history, like Charles said. If you remember the 6-day war, other countries, led by Saudi Arabia, they actually knocked off, I'm talking of Arab countries led by Saudi Arabia, actually declared, they cut off their oil, they cut off Europe from their oil. Who saved them? It was the United States. Until it got to a point that the US couldn't really continue to save them. Now, Donald Trump has said he will increase fracking to, 13 million barrels per day. Saudi Arabia is also pushing to 12 million barrels per day, if possible 13 million barrels per day. So we are likely to have an oil glut, and people are already warning that if Trump wins, oil might drop to $60 or even lesser than that. Because Trump has said he doesn't want oil to rise higher than $60. And you know, he also doesn't want OPEC to survive.
Oh, yeah.
Now, for you and I who are Nigerians, what are the implications? It will spell trouble. We're already in deep trouble as we are. For oil to now drop to $60 or below, because Trump has said he will pump more oil.
It will be a blessing.
It will not be any blessing because you don't have the kind of leaders who can seize the moment. So let us just deal with
because
now.
the 6 day war, 767 day war will come to mind here. We're talking about the late 60s, early 70s.
1967, June 5. June 5.
We didn't make the most of it.
We couldn't because don't forget that the Biafra Republic was declared May 30.
Yeah.
Then May 30,
67, yeah.
Then the 6 day war was June 5, 1967. So it was really a double whammy for Britain. You know, now cut off from oil from the Middle East. Then at the same time, Biafra came with the process of cutting it off from the oil in the eastern region oil fields.
Okay.
Of course, that would have, and you know, Britain will go to any length to ensure, you know, that the Queen or the King lives long.
Yeah, see, how do you take this home now?
Yeah.
Because we must begin to go plod our ways back home.
Of course, I get that. But I think that for far too long, when the commentariat looks at American or international issues, we would easily look at how it will affect, and which is the normal thing to do. But we've never had to be the ones to say, how will what we do affect them? I think that over and above every other consideration, let's give ourselves what we owe ourselves, which is good governance, which is basically a government that is determined to do the best or to serve it with the best that is possible. Because if we fail to do, even when international politics or American affairs give us the best fruits, which they've done in time past, for example, the Gulf War, that win for $12.something billion, not a single drop of, not a single kobo of that money found its way to Nigerian coffers. So that is the point. Are we ready for what is coming? If we're not, please let America be
What
America.
might come?
Yes.
Yeah.
If we're not, let America be the American.
Otherwise, let the Americans, as always, elect a POTUS.
Yes, they vote for themselves.
For themselves.
Yes.
Charles Ideo, we cannot thank you enough for your intervention. No less so, Emeka Madonagu. Thank you for your point-blank arguments. Cyril, you are perhaps the only gentleman here backing a tough-talking Donald Trump. Not to worry, it's your choice. But the Americans are having to make a choice on Tuesday, November 5. So be it. We can only look forward to a 47th American president who will be doing a lot of business, good business with Africa. Thank you, Emeka, for your time. Cyril Abaku and Charles Ideo. I'm out of here. I'm Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye now. Take care.